Everybody, welcome back to part 2 of how to make the Inquisitor helmet from Dragon Age, right here on the Old Ted channel. Okay, before we glue the visor onto this helmet, I wanted to make sure this is the front seam, a little F in the front, and from this is the first seam. On your second seam out, I measured and marked 1.5 inches. And I did it on both sides. Make a little mark there. The reason I do that because this is where you're going to line up your face shield. This is where the eye hole starts, right there. So you glue it right there and go back from there. Now this is a personal preference. Some people like to have the Inquisitor helmet very narrow with the face shield. So this is my personal preference. You guys can make it a little bit narrow if you like. But for me, this is what I'm going to do for here. Got the two coats on, all nice and dry. Let's line her up. Once again, when I put this on, touch the leading edge. There you go. That's the front. And there it is. It's coming together. Now see, the reason when heating, you're going to do this to get these guys kicked out. And once you get this on the helmet, that's where you have to get it all glued together because you're going to have to do some heat shaping. So now this is on here. Okay, as you see, I went ahead and I have a stand I use a lot. This is just a wood base with a post on it. If you have a mannequin headpiece or stand, that would work as well too. But you need something to hang on. So once I get it, so what I want to do is I can see this kind of, you guys can see it's kicking a little bit. So I'm going to kind of warm this whole thing up a little bit and just kick it out a bit. As a matter of fact, I'm going to probably warm up here. So warm that up and just kind of kick this whole thing out. All right, hold that. Okay, this guy looks pretty straight. Now I have to do the other side. Okay, there it is. See now? Much straighter. A little heating, a little tweaking. Looks much better. Now, let's go ahead and glue in our nose piece here real quick. All right, of course I got my 2 thin coats on both sides. I put a little bridge nose. And you notice there's a harsh angle in this. I did this like a triangle. And the reason I do this, when you glue it in, it'll kick this out a little bit, which helps. It looks really nice. So, kind of line it up, make sure you got your center. There you go, see? Slowly coming together. Now I have some really thin craft foam, and this is the second part of the dragon head. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to trace this on here because this is going to be a little added detail. All right, now we got this traced. The little bumps where I have the eyes, you can see those. What I do, I use those as registration for the eyes. So I'm not going to have those, I'm going to kind of just cut those out. I'm going to take those bumps out. They make that more like a brow. So now with an X-ACTO blade, what I like to do is I'm going to cut this, but I'm going to cut this at a hard angle. I'm not going to cut it 90 because I want to kind of feather it in. So when I glue it on, I want to kind of roll in. So when cutting, I'm going to do a really kind of hard angle on this. See? There it goes, just like that. All right, there we have it. All right, I have both my parts coated with my contact adhesive. Here we go. Line them up. And see, that's the reason I do the bevel, because when you do this, it kind of rolls it down a little bit. Then I got this all lined in and stuck down. This is where I come back and I take my Sharpie and I make my eyes like this. If you have the actual drawing of the helmet in front of you, or kind of improvise a little bit, I want to do a kind of a dragon scale thing going for this. So I make these guys here the nose. So I'm going to do some lines. And trust me, you want to do this with a Sharpie first because you want to have some references to follow when you're using your wood burner. So go ahead and draw all your lines in here. All right, you can see I went through with my Sharpie, did all my lines, and now I went out and got my trusty wood burner. Once again, you guys are probably saying, hey Ted, where'd you get this? I have a link below my videos. And also go to my website, go to my shopping list, go through Amazon, you guys can buy one of these. So now what you do is you take this, I put a sharp tip on it, very carefully, very slowly, because it burns. Also you guys can know, be sure to wear a mask and be in a well ventilated when you use, because burning foam is not good. Do not inhale this stuff. You can see, get all nicely burned in, added detail. But I figured now, since we have the burner and it's all plugged in nice and hot, let's go ahead and jump onto the Dragon back. Get your metal straight edge and do the top lines with a metal straight edge. Let's just pick one real quick here to show you guys real quick what I'm doing. Like that, see? Let's get my line at the top, and then that's where the Sharpie lines came in handy, because what you do is you take the leading edge and you just kind of complete the edge by hand. All the way down. It all burned and went all the way to the edges. So now we got the dragon head and the back done. So now we're going to move on. Let's move on to the helmet. All right, here we are back with the helmet. We're going to do a little more tweaking on it, but before I go any further, I want to guarantee this guy, the space doesn't move around on me. So I made myself a little spacer. I'm going to glue back in here. And that's what I'd recommend you guys do. But remember, when you're doing this, don't have it go to the edge. Just have it just go behind, because we're going to leave this all the way in when we go to coat this as well too. This just guarantees that our distance stays while we work on it. Now that we have our bracer in, help that stabilize, what I'm going to do is I like these guys flaring out. There's these two more wings over here I want to kick out more. So once I realize, once this is on here, now we're going to heat these eyes up and kick them out. And you take this stick like this, you just kind of kick it out a little bit, like so. I kind of can't hold my thumbs on this because I just want to kick out just that edge. I don't want to bend the whole wing out, just this tip. Okay, see, there you go. Now, if you look from the front, you can see the scallop happening. Okay, we got the front one's all done. Looks good. Now, this little wing in the back here, I like this one as well. So they kind of taper in, but I want to kick these guys out as well. So the same technique as well. Use the same technique. Well, I'm going to glue the dragon head on, but before I do that, take your template, basically your pattern template you have, and I'm going to pin this guy on. Because I've always found that gluing stuff down, it's best just to put the glue where you need it. See, the good thing about this too, once you do this, you're definitely going to nail your design and get exactly what you want. Get this guy and glue it on. Before I glue this on, I'm realizing too, just to take some of the fight out of it, I'm going to heat this up and curl it as well too. Okay, there it is. See, now it's heated, it's a little bit curled, so it's a lot easier to lie on. So I just heat it, kind of at the wings. It makes it a lot easier for me to meet up my my marks. Okay, oh, and also, this guy, the texture in the back time, you definitely want to rough this stuff up first, because this has a tendency to kind of pop back off, so I'm going to go back in here with a Dremel before I put any glue on it. Got the glue on both surfaces, dry and ready to go. I'll line it up. Okay, there it is. The dragon is now stuck on there and properly secured. Now, our next step is going to be, before we're going to put these other pieces on the trim detail, I want to put my trim on the edge. This is the very pronounced sharp edge that runs around here. So I'm going to show you guys how to make that so we can put that on the helmet next. Okay, now, I'll show you this little triangular piece of foam. This is going to be the trim on the helmet. You're probably saying, hey Ted, how'd you make that? And I'm going to show you. First, I have my good old-fashioned big long yardstick metal ruler here. So I'm going to use, and also once again, my box cutter and my Crinso sharpener, because you need this blade to be really sharp for this cut. So get this nice and sharp. Now, when cutting your, all you people out there have the EVA floor mat foam. Like I said, they want texture. Do texture side down. So you do the texture side down. And also, what you do is hold up here the first top of it, put some pressure on it because you want this blade, it's going to follow this edge. We're going to do a really hard angle on this. Basically, going to do a bevel cut. So here we go. Keep it nice and clean and straight. Okay. Now that we cut that, flip it over. And basically what you do is you take this and put it right on the leading edge. Basically the little triangle that's happening, you take your ruler and put it on the top of that edge. Just like that. Okay? And now, once again, same thing, holding down, going to do another bevel cut. Got it? Okay. And voila, there it is. My nice little triangular trim cut. So for this helmet, this is the length of the EVA floor mat foam. Just need to cut 2 of these. Okay, before I get into the trim piece, I realized this is the back plate, which you can see I went ahead and heated it and shaped it, and the back plate goes exactly where it belongs, the back plate. And this is, I went ahead and put my 2 coats of Barge Cement. Go ahead and line this guy up, and you can see where the end lines are. You line up your back plate right here, dead center. That is our back plate. Here you go. Probably wondering why the extreme close-up. These are the trim pieces, and this is the front of them. And what I've done is I just took the top of my triangle and I just cut underneath them because I want them to taper to a point, so when they flare out a little bit more. Matter of fact, so when you take your top of your triangle, just cut from the bottom and cut a little bit taper up there, so it'll have a nice little point to it. So when you glue these on, they're going to feather in really nice. As a matter of fact, you'll see it as I go. All right, I went ahead and got my barge cement on the edge, barge my trim piece. Like I said, the taper part, I kind of start low. I want to start right next to the helmet, as low as I can, right here on the nose bridge. And you kind of push in like this, and you kind of curl it in like that. And what you do is you follow that edge of the helmet like this. There you go. And just keep going around the edge of that lip of the helmet. And what I do is I kind of fall dead center. What I do is where the seam is, go right there. I take my knife. I'm going to cut that because I know the other, I'm going to have another piece that's going to come, it's going to match up. So cut that. Don't stick. There you go. Okay. That's our one side. All right, I have my head, my spine, my trim, my back piece glued on. Now we have to cut out a little detail, a little finesse. This is like a little relief here we're going to cut. So we're going to go ahead and cut this out of a thinner craft foam. So let's do that. This outside edge is going to be, I'm going to do as a bevel cut. This inside is going to be a lip. I want this to be 90 degrees. So let's start with that really quick. Take once again, an X-ACTO blade and a new blade on there, which always helps. So this guy, this inside part, we want to have that to be a 90 because that's going to be, I want it to be like a lip so you can have it definitely show. So I'm going to have a hard lip on that. So I'm going to cut this at 90. There we go. Now on the inside lip, I want to cut this at a real hard angle because this is the edge. I want this to feather in more. So the way to get that to feather this piece in, so I'm going to do a really hard angle on it. As you see now, nice square edge on the inside. This edge is a bevel. As a matter of fact, I like it, but I'm going to bevel just a little bit more with my drum sander on the Dremel. Got barge. Now I'm going to let you guys know, I did barge on the inside, up around, and all around, and also on the inside of the helmet lip. Like, just up where the eye holes, I do a little bit barge, also on the inside, not just the outside, but the inside as well. And now I got this. What I like to do when I start off with this is you want to start with the inside line. So you line these two up first. Get that trim line right on that, and follow the inside of the helmet. We just kind of slowly work it over. And then you can see here, this is the edge, is going to feather down. That kind of just drops off. Line is right underneath the helmet. This top piece needs to go underneath that lip. So make sure you do that. Watch it get underneath that lip. Nice and flush. There you go. Now, like I said, again, this is foam, and some parts will stretch more than others. So if you look down here at the bottom, this might have ran a little long. So I'm just going to take my knife and come here underneath and just cut that. Okay, now I got these guys all glued in. For the wings here, I did a little highlight. Got some little thin craft foam pieces, and I want to just highlight the wings. So I got a little, of course, put barge on it, ready to go. So line these guys up, give it a little bit of a accent. There we go. What I do is I like to leave them a little bit long so I can just go back and with my trusty knife and just kind of cut them off. Make them cut them off to a point here. All right, now for the next piece of detail, I have a little trusty spike I made. It's going to go right here on the top of the helmet. I know you're saying, Ted, how'd you make this? I will show you. Okay, as you see, I went ahead and cut out a piece of foam. It's like a perfect square on the foam. What I do is that I measure about an inch with my ruler. And once again, this is all personal preference. If you guys want to make your spikes longer, you definitely can. But I just found the magic length for me is about an inch. So what I do is I go ahead, mark that, cut it. There, and since I went ahead and cut it, what I do is I just kind of stack them up and cut all of them that I need at the same time. What I do is I cut it like a triangle. Like that. And then go on the other side. Like that. And now, as you can see, I have a little triangle. So then I come back in. Now you see my little triangle. I take the Dremel. What I do is I like to turn the triangle always toward me. Matter of fact, let me just hold it wider so you guys can see. And I put the Dremel on low. And just start from the top of the triangle down. When doing, you can kind of see the hard corners. I kind of rotate a little bit, just drag the Dremel across it. There it is, there's my spike. Now all you have to do is just do this 11 more times to get these spikes. Okay, as you can see, I got all my, my foam spikes done. Now what I do is a little rough, and what I do to smooth them out is I take them and put them on the end of an X-ACTO blade. And this time I don't use a torch. This is where I use a heat gun. Okay, I went ahead and put my Barge Cement already on the wings, and what I do is I put the spike on every other ridge. So dead center, right there, got that. Up above there, right there, that's that one. Okay, as you see, we're pretty much there, got all the detail on it. There's just one more part. On the Inquisitor helmet, there's a bit of a, on the spot back here is a little cross hatch. This is recessed a little bit, it has a little cross hatch stitching on it. And originally, when I was doing this, granted you could have come back here and done a thin piece of craft foam on top of this and had a big opening in there. But the more I thought about it and doing all this work and stuff, and just, I didn't want to add more foam on top of this and stick stuff on top of that. So I just went ahead and just drew it out where it was going to go. See, it's on both sides. And I'm just going to take the Dremel and kind of bring this down. Just, it doesn't have to be a lot. Just want to do a little bit of a recess. So I went ahead and got my stone bit. I'm just going to try to just take this whole area down just a little bit, and I'm talking like a centimeter of that much. Like, it just needs to be a slight recessed just to get the full effect. So let's do that right now. Okay. Hey, I'll like to show you my technique. Definitely for bringing this whole area down, what I want to do is make sure I get my edge first, nice and clean on both sides, get to where I like it, and then it makes it a lot easier. Once you do that, that's where you know you have to go for. So I just do that. So I was working so well, I figured to show you what I'm doing. So I got this guy going. You start at an angle, like so. All right, now, as you see, I took the Dremel and I kind of went back in with the sharp edge with the Dremel and kind of sharpened the edges up a little bit more on an angle. So I got both those sides all done. And now, just to have it right here in my lap, I'm going to go ahead and just take some sandpaper and kind of just go back in here and even it out a little bit. Okay, now I'm going to go over it with my 400 grit, get the rest of the fuzzies out. My all-time favorite, the torch. I'm just going to heat seal these really quick. Okay, as you can see, I take my flexible ruler and my trusty Sharpie and made my marks. Now this is for the side of the helmet. Now I got these drawn in. I'm going to take a wood burner and my metal ruler. I've always found it so good. If you're going to do any burning, make sure you do your Sharpie lines first. It's so much easier to have something to follow. So I went ahead and went there and did my lines on both sides. And now, when wood burning, it's great to have your metal ruler. So I just pick my one line, like so. Hold it steady. And start in the inside lip right there. And there it is. Okay, one down and a bunch more to go. What? We were right in the middle of working the back of that helmet, Ted. Yeah, sorry guys, you have to come back for the next video. Hey guys, if you're first time watching this, go to eviltedsmith.com and get on my mailing list. eviltedsmith.com, get on my mailing list. Also, if you guys are shopping for supplies, you can go to my Amazon links below. But also, I recommend today you'd buy Barge Cement. Barge Cement, which is sponsoring this video, which is the best contact adhesive for your foam fabricating cosplay needs. All right? Please, guys, purchase that through my site, which helps him, helps me, and helps these videos keep coming. So don't forget to come back for part 3 on how to make the Inquisitor helmet from Dragon Age, right here on the Evil Ted channel.